Fight for a future where we bring down prices that are still too high.
You brought up the costs! Since Biden and Harris took office, a family of 4 needs to make $17,000 more annually. You're campaigning against yourself! We have a DNC chairperson to fact check, and let me lead this with he one time called Donald Trump Hitler.
Donald Trump is America's Hitler.
Hitler.
You know who their new fact checker is at CNN? Cory Booker.
You want to see me die?
He just finished cleaning the soda machine.
You would rather me
I'm
die?
just letting people that are moving on to another hateful joke.
Hey, look behind you! There's her aide!
We'll continue our fight for working families of America. Eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Do it now! You're campaigning against yourself. The cost of living is too much. Yeah, crime. Wait,
Defund the police. Black Lives Matter has been the most significant agent for change.
We need to unite the country. The country's been divided. Who the hell did that?
They're not going to let up, and they should not.
Does anybody else see this?
I love it.
Seriously.
As my administration calls on Google and Spotify to censor Joe Rogan and, by name, Steven Crowder. You know that's a thing, right, at the Recode conference? Yet senators calling for this to be banned. That's why we're supported by you, Mug Club. It's surreal when you watch senators and committees talking about banning your channel over things like a blow-up doll.
That wasn't a suggestion.
This is the most important election of our lifetime. I haven't said that in the past. I've also never endorsed anybody in the past. Did it this time because it's different. Glad to be with you. I apologize for my statement yesterday. Turns out I did have this shirt.
Who are you apologizing to?
It was buried behind the flak jackets and other bizarre costumes, rifles,
stuff like that.
Homemade explosive devices.
That's
just kidding. We do have some pepper spray grenades, though.
Do we?
We actually do. Yes, we do. Hey, let me ask you this really quickly.
Be a fun Friday.
What does Kamala Harris, Iran, Fox News going woke, the economy, and stolen chicken wings, what do they all have in common? It's all in today's show. We're going to be talking about that. Bring up the rundown.
Spoiler.
There you go. So, I don't know if you know this, but Iran is trying to interfere with this election. And on CNN, they tried to say that they're trying to interfere in both camps. They're not. They only tried to kill one person, Donald Trump. And they've only been trying to interfere and hamper one campaign, Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that. And I also want to dispel this myth that Fox News is somehow right-leaning. Their polls are arguably the furthest leaning left outside of maybe New York Times, Siena. And they ran a hit piece, I should say, that is completely inaccurate, trying to say that crime is down, it's plummeting, and it's not true. And it's not just not true. I don't have to massage numbers. You'll see. If I were to tell you right now, you would say you're lying, right? That's a bit. It's not a bit. It's true. What they do, how they fudge the numbers. So that and more at some point, I guarantee you, because of the first story we'll be covering. At some point, if you see this, head on over to Rumble, and it's a live show, weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. Consider joining Mug Club because we are also here with you on Fridays. What do you think is the greatest indicator of inflation? You can comment below. I say chicken wings. I'll get into that. I have a whole segment on chicken wings. That's not what we're doing today, but I have a whole segment. I'm a chicken wing aficionado.
Oh, really?
Don't even get into it. You're not even close. How are you, Gerald?
I guess I'm fine. I love chicken wings less than you. How are you?
We've learned a lot about each other over chicken wings.
We have,
It's kind of one of the places where you learned if I said I am willing to bet substantially more than $1.
That's when I knew you were right.
It means because I don't bet, and Gerald wanted to bet something with me. He was like $1. I was like, I would like to bet.
That's from
substantially
Trading
more.
Places. You know, they bet $1.
Yeah.
Mortimer, you know?
I don't bet dollars.
We bet more.
I only bet the bills. That's short for billions because my Lambos aren't going to clean themselves. That's why I have hired help.
Speaking of Josh,
What?
When you hear this, you know him, you love him. September 19th, he's going to be at the Big Laugh Comedy Club in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
He's banned from X. So follow him on Instagram or jfirestine.com. Was in a car crash this weekend. How are you, sir?
I'm doing excellent. I feel fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about chicken wings. I'm a flat guy myself.
You're a flat guy? I'm a drum guy.
You're a drum guy?
Comment below. Are you flat or
Drums.
drum? I am drum.
That's a perfect match, me and you, because you have you have the drums, I have the flats.
It's like Lady and the Tramp with the spaghetti, only with wings, and we would share them.
they call
Yeah.
them flats?
Yeah, they call them flats.
I had no
yeah, it's
idea.
called a flat.
I like the drums because I get the really, really hot one, and then I dip a little bit in the ranch. But now they sell hot mixed with ranch, so I'm like, I don't know what, my world is upside down.
Asian
much.
thing
That's
for
too
me.
much.
That's all I can do.
So let's go right to this.
Be good. Listen.
This lady, I don't know if
Careful.
you've seen this, it's making the rounds. I believe it's new. This lady is furious at a young, that's okay,
Yeah,
who took a picture at a big box store or a Walmart, and so decides to take matters into her own large crab-cracking hands. Watch.
Oh!
No,
What are you doing?
you do not.
Hey!
You do not.
What are you doing? What? Hey,
You do not take pictures of me.
look what you're doing.
Right. Look what you're doing, kid.
I thought you were Vader.
What?
I thought you were mankind.
Just
I love how, by the way, that this person also is like a 1940s cop. Like,
Yeah.
look what you're doing, kid.
You're gonna go downtown for this one.
You're gonna go downtown. How do you feel about a paddy wagon? Which, by the way, is that is as feminine of an assault and battery as I've ever seen committed.
that's allowed on YouTube.
You may not like people taking pictures of you, okay, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But you don't have the right to commit assault and battery.
Yes,
that is
pictures?
assault.
That is.
Whether you're a man, a lady,
Hey,
easy.
Steven.
so this
David,
this
come on,
because
hey.
look with the YouTube thing, I get
I'm
it.
nervous.
This person is a criminal, and I bet you that young man probably thinks that lady is insane. That young man would be wrong to think that
I'd just
because
be
you would not
a
be
little-
allowed to say that person, because we're not a doctor, is in any way mentally unstable.
No.
That's how, and that's
wouldn't
not
say
indicative.
that.
That's not indicative how all of the. How
just-
all women behave.
Oh, Lord.
Just that person.
We shop.
And I think it's unacceptable.
Right. Good. Yeah. Right.
Okay, we can leave it there.
It's a
Oh, good Lord.
They got it.
Well, I hope that she gets back on her meds.
Yes.
Wow. That's, old Maui from Moana is looking angry these days.
I'm about to erupt.
Yeah. I'm a volcano of feminine energy.
You're welcome.
Feel my lava.
I can feel my femininity bubbling up from my balls. That look is for dudes.
I feel like that person was gonna toss that kid out like
It's hilarious. Okay, anyway.
Speaking of horrible behavior, a Chicago school worker.
This isn't horrible necessarily. Well, I mean, it is, but It's kind of funny.
And by the way, they wrote in the news story, the link, they wrote "End Chicago School Worker," so I always have to, make sure that I correct what the local news is doing. We always try to, with our sources, provide you either with left-leaning sources, authoritative sources that the left has approved to remove any excuse, or sometimes it has to come from a local news source if that's, sort of the origin of the story. So this Chicago school worker was recently sentenced to 9 years. And this has been picking up steam, I think, for reasons you can maybe guess once you see this, for stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. But here's the thing. What you're about to see is the actual report from the local news.
Well, it's that time for another edition of Crazy Ass Criminals. Chasing chicken wing dreams during the pandemic was a mission Vera Liddell in Chicago was on, and the slick-ass senior citizen had no chill. Prosecutors say the Harvey School District Food Service manager stood on business. She ordered over 11,000 cases of chicken wings that never touched the longing lips of any students. The total loss to the damn district was $1.5 million.
So that's
a real report.
That's a real report. And by the way, we're going to reach out and see if that person wants to come work for us, because I guarantee you that's someone who doesn't want to be working in local news. Just like, yeah, screw it. You know what? I'm going to call crazy ass criminals.
That's right.
See what happens.
I hope he wants to leave Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just do it different in Chicago.
So it took place between 2020 and 2022.
That's a lot of crime.
Over $18,000 worth of chicken wings a week.
That's a lot of chicken wings.
Here's the thing. They don't serve chicken wings to the kids.
Yeah, why
Because
would
it's
they?
a choking hazard?
Yeah.
How did it go on for more than one order? Love wings. So this is clearly a patsy for the higher ups. Like, you'd think one person would go, all right, going through microwave pizzas, $18,000 in a food that we don't serve. Hey, what's this about? And it would be done. So I think that this goes a little bit higher than the crazy ass criminal if it gets to 1.5 million.
I think so. Other people got to be held responsible for this, right?
Yeah.
Because they either they're that incompetent or ignorant.
Well, this goes back to public school. Hey, take this, throw more money at the problem, because 80% of students at this school, right, or the district overall, they qualify as low income. So when people say charter schools hurt these kids because some kids live in these neighborhoods, they wouldn't be able to drive or ride their bike or take a bus. Well, right now, they are designated to this one school. A place like this went on for 2 years, $1.5 million.
Worth of chicken wings.
It's an absurd story, but it makes the same point. Throw more money at that problem. Do you think any of it's going to be fixed? And I know, by the way, people will try and make this an issue of racial division, where some people will say, hey, this person shouldn't do 9 years. This person is having the book thrown at them because they're black. Or, look, some people will look at that and go, you know what? An area around Chicago, corrupt school, par for the course. Not a race thing, par for the course for the public servants of places like Illinois. And now you have the Kansas City Chiefs player, Chris Jones. I don't know if he's serious or not, saying that I'll pay for the wings that she stole to get her free.
Well, that's not how crime works.
It seems like a very high price for wings. 18,000 boxes and 1.5 million. How much is each box?
Well, wings are actually. I'm going to do a set that wings
I want to know
are.
the street value of this.
Yeah.
1.5 is gotta be the
Wings
box
are one of the
value.
strongest indicators of inflation. You know why? Because you can't change your business model. If you're McDonald's, if you're selling different sandwiches, we can get pork for cheaper now. We're going to move the menu. Let's take some roast beef out of here. Let's make the burger patty smaller. Let's change our sourcing for bread. With wings, you get what you get. You either have to reduce the number or increase the price. And I believe it's well over 30%. Closer to 30, 40% just since Biden's been in office.
But wings have gone
Yeah,
up?
wings are a very tough business, which is why this horrible bitch stole them. Now,
Well, don't say horrible. You haven't tried her wings yet.
that's true. I don't know.
I mean, for 2 years, she was probably slinging the best wings in South Chicago.
I wonder if she tried to get out of it with the cops. Like, look, I'll serve my time. Mm-hmm. I done wrong.
That's right.
And I know that. And I will have to make amends. But first, would you like to try? And the cop's like, listen, I ain't going, that ain't going to work on an man.
Oh, Lord.
Judge, you got to try some of this. Not guilty, motherfucker.
You make the sauce yourself. Hey, that's why Chris Jones wants to get her out. He's like, she'll be my personal chef. Let's move this chick down to Kansas City and she can go out and tailgate with us.
It's government corruption. I'm sorry. We need to completely comment if you agree or hit the Rumble button or like on YouTube. Completely defund the Federal Department of Education. By the way, we'll have a new want to hear Donald Trump and Vance speak. In this case, you want to hear them be rebutted and know how they're lying to you. And the good news is we have a staff of people here who are better than anyone on earth. All right, let's move on to Iran.
Do we have to?
What would you like to do today, Gerald? What would you like this show to be?
I don't want Harris to be supported by Iran.
Well, I don't want her to be supported, but what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about this. I just hate
want to talk about Notre Dame fighting Irish? Is that what you want to do?
Actually, if you want, they came out at number 7 in the most recent.
Did they
poll.
really?
It's going to be fantastic.
My neck is hurting more now.
Yeah, I know. So is my soul. Okay. So, of course,
leave your body.
You have the election coming up. We all know that, right? Election? You guys are aware of the election? Mm-hmm. And Iran is ramping up efforts to interfere with the election. Now, the way the left is presenting it is that this is kind of a both sides type situation. It's not, but listen to them.
So Google is now warning both presidential campaigns about ongoing hacking threats from Iran. It says there have been multiple attempts by Iranian hackers to access accounts belonging to people associated with Harris, Biden, and Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Also involved in trying to kill Donald Trump, kind of a biggie. We'll get to why they may favor Harris and Biden over Donald Trump. Hint, $1 trillion. But yesterday, it was also reported. Now, we can't confirm this. If this is true, and of course the media usually doesn't care if something is true, this should be the biggest scandal right now in the country, period, bar none. I read it and I thought this must be a misprint. So it was reported that United States officials actually presented Iran with the names of Mossad officials that killed the Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh. So think American officials, this is reported, if true, gave Iran the names of the people who killed the leader of the terrorist organization. Think about that. When people talk about a conspiracy, that they want World War III and perpetual conflict, okay, it's not always the case. How many people can you get in a room? But this would be the most clear-cut example that you could possibly present that you have people in the United States intelligence offices who are interested in something equivalent to World War III. And by the way, we managed to obtain a recording of how it allegedly went down.
Tell me who it was.
I just did. Check your facts. I know your Wi-Fi can be a little finicky.
I said, tell me who it is, dammit.
I told you. I just did.
But wait, are you serious? It was that easy?
Yep.
I didn't even get to do the part where I threatened to stone your wife, steal your daughter in front of you. I had the whole thing planned.
Totally unnecessary, man.
Okay, well, we will give you names of your enemies in exchange.
Don't worry about it. We're just happy to help.
Thank you. I mean that, thank you. That is really refreshing. You know, it's almost impossible to get a real person on the phone anymore.
Believe me, I understand.
And when you finally get through, they're rude, it's a call center in Bangladesh, it's not a person.
I get it. People like you, yeah, it's annoying.
Well, I just want you to know, it does not go unnoticed. It's appreciated, sir.
Actually, it's ma'am. I identify as a woman, and my pronouns are they, them. I know you probably didn't mean the microaggression, so no biggie this time.
That person's dead now. So
they are. By the way, let me just clarify. 10 names were given. This originated from a Kuwaiti report picked up by Fox News. Fox has since deleted the article. We've come out and said that this didn't actually happen, right? But I don't know that I trust them. 10 people that are still in Iran.
Right.
Do you understand what that means? It's like saying, hey, there's 10 people that work for Mossad that are still in your country.
Right.
That is far worse than just saying, oh, these are the guys that did it, but they're in Israel where they're kind of protected.
Right. So Fox News is saying that it didn't happen now?
Well, no, Fox isn't saying that. I think we'll get down to it. Like the administration is saying that it didn't happen.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll take their word for it.
I believe them.
Yeah. But this is important as it relates to the overall narrative. You just saw with CNN saying they're trying to hack both campaigns. No, they're not. Iran has a vested interest in preventing Donald Trump
Yeah.
from being president. They've made it known, to be clear. They're probably upset. The Ayatollah is probably upset when he watches CNN, like, well, that's not true. That's not true. We want Harris. We hate Trump. You don't speak for me.
He has a vote Harris sign right behind.
Yeah. Like the UAW.
I don't think they're trying to sabotage both campaigns. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
What end result they're looking for?
Well, let's look at why they may want to, for example, assassinate Donald Trump, which they did.
Yeah.
Let's look at the different treatment that Iran received with Harris, Biden. I'll just say Harris, right? Because, Biden, Harris, no one's really seeing Biden anymore. Let's start with funding, okay? So Harris, Biden, they gave billions, for example, just for hostage release. And they also unfroze a lot of money. Okay, Donald Trump put 1,500 sanctions on Iran, largely on oil, and $1 trillion in damages to the Iranian economy, according to Iranian officials. I believe it was Biden-Harris who unfroze $6 billion as well. That was frozen. Again, by Donald Trump. You had Barack Obama, here's some money. Donald Trump, we're not going to do it. Biden-Harris, we're going to unfreeze it. Okay? The Iranians are very concerned about Donald Trump being president. He's the only person who's enforced any policies with any teeth. Let's look at the treatment of terrorism under the Harris and Biden administration versus Donald Trump. You look at Harris and Biden, they removed Iranian proxies like the Houthis from the terror list.
How's that working right now?
Yeah, they just took them off the terror list.
Yeah.
Because we would want to be ethnocentric.
Well, they're the ones shooting at our warships
right
now. So
compare that to Donald Trump, who killed Soleimani and bragged about it.
Thank you very much.
The terror mastermind in Iran.
He doesn't get any credit for
So one party, we'll take them off the watch list. Donald Trump's, I killed your man. You better come out and stop me. And just in case people are forgetting, Iran is an enemy of the United States. I don't know if you know that. They're sworn enemy of the United States. They refer to us as Satan.
The Great Satan.
The Great Satan.
There are two Satans.
Israel's a little Satan. We're the bigger Satan.
We're number one.
Geographically makes sense. Let me give you some more key facts here. I don't know if you know this as far as who they've been trying to negatively affect. Key fact number one, the assassination plot against Donald Trump. I don't know if you know this, but in July 2020, United States intelligence discovered an Iranian plot to kill Donald Trump. Asif Merchant, 46 years old, this comes from NBC News and CNN, is accused of traveling to New York City and working with a hitman to carry out the assassinations in late August or early September, according to the charges filed by federal prosecutors in Brooklyn, New York. And the New York.
You New Yorkers.
And the Secret Service, in a very rare occurrence, actually increased their protection around Donald Trump at that moment in time. So we have the record of them attempting to assassinate Donald Trump. This guy has been brought in to a paddy wagon, see? And we have the funding. All right, let's look at key fact number two.
By the way, sorry, that was July 2024, not 2020.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Yes, July 2024.
It was a typo there. So,
okay, July 2024. I
Recent.
apologize. I thought it was recent, and I was thinking, was it a recirculated story? Because you never know, but you can admonish me.
There we go. I forgot I had that one. Yeah.
And by the way, just check the references. Every day, go to loudwithcreditor.com. Link in the description. That one comes from NBC News and CNN. Here's a key fact number two, that the Iranians actually hacked the Trump campaign.
Oh, come on.
So they actually leaked vetting files on Trump's VP candidates. Now, this is what we know, right? They leaked the files on J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. And what's funny is Iran, sworn enemy of the United States, it's like, okay, we hacked the Trump campaign. We have these vetting files. Who do we think how could we do the most damage? I'll link it to Politico and the New York Times and Washington Post. That's real. Iran, in trying to damage your confidence in the American constitutional republic, they leaked hacked documents to Politico, New York Times, and Washington Post.
And those people ran with it, printed it?
I don't even know.
At least a little bit. Yeah. That's what do you think? You think it's beneath them?
Ran?
Like, come on, here at the New York Times and Washington Post, we have ethics. Sure, the Hunter Biden laptop, and sure, of course, we lied about the elections and the laws. But yeah. We won't take anything from terrorists Iran. Of course they took it. Of course they ran.
Of course they did. But the thing is, on Rubio's deal, it was just small hands. And so there was a big X over it. So that was it.
Right.
Not very telling.
Here's another key fact that you need to know, that Iran is actively trying to swing the election for Harris. Again, CNN doesn't want to tell you this because they don't. It's kind of like when Osama bin Laden came out and endorsed John Kerry.
Yeah. That's not the endorsement you want.
And so the media just didn't cover it. So he kept calling into shows. Like, hello, hey, excuse me. I have a lot to say.
The Swift boat guy, my guy.
Yes, John Kerry. Please, trust me, Americans, you do not want George W. Bush. You don't want him. It is Kerry. Remember, the name Kerry is the man you want.
Meanwhile, thousands of us were searching for him.
Yes. Yes.
They said vote for Kerry signs. You just look for that in Afghanistan and you'll find the guy. Come
Maybe
on.
it's that cave with the Kerry signs on it. That might be the one.
He's holding a vote Kerry rally and what?
So here's actually an example. We can bring up the overlay that Iran is actually running some influence campaigns on fake news sites. Again, trying to influence people to vote for Harris, which is just kind of interesting. How do you always accidentally, media, line up with your propaganda with sworn enemies of the United States? Whether it's China and COVID, and that it came from a wet market, right? And that the whistleblower was still alive, or that lockdowns work, or it's like Iran with fake news trying to get Kamala Harris into office saying there's a bunch of momentum, which is the same thing. How do you always line up with propagandists who hate the United States, or Al-Qaeda? John Kerry being endorsed by Osama bin Laden. Do you ever just accidentally look around? And I know what you'll say, like, hey, you have some neo-Nazis. Well, no, they have no global power. And by the way, the neo-Nazis voted for Biden. I don't know if you know that. It's like, it's not even true. They're just socialists who happen to be racist.
That's their guy.
So the director of national intelligence actually reported that Iran is trying to stop Trump from winning in November with, and this comes from CNN, Tehran working to influence the presidential election because probably Iranian leaders want to avoid an outcome they perceive would increase tensions with the United States. Now, to be clear, that is code for consequences.
Yes.
That there will be consequences from the United States, like freezing $6 billion in funds that you may use to go to a nuclear reactor.
And Hellfire missiles into cars in motion.
Right.
That would be also bad.
Exactly. So when the media tells you Iran is trying to interfere with this election, by the way, these are the same people who did this with Russia. There is so much more evidence right now that Iran is interfering with this election than we ever had with Russia. It is remarkable that the media is not covering it. Well, I shouldn't say remarkable. It's entirely expected. The most they will do is say, it seems like they're trying to create uncertainty on both sides. Nope. They tried to assassinate one side. They have tried to elect one side, Kamala Biden-Harris. They've tried to spread fake news about one side, Donald Trump. And they've actively hacked and leaked private information from one side, Donald Trump. There is no moral equivalency, and it's far worse than Russia. And we spent countless millions of dollars on the Russia collusion investigation, which of course yielded nothing. It amounted to nothing more than a little bit of trolling. By the way, it didn't even seem like Russia was looking to get Donald Trump elected. We've done segments on that. You can search the catalog on Mug Club. Here's the thing. Iran is a country that we need to be concerned about long term because they've told us so. They also call us the Great Satan.
Iran's hardliners flexing their muscles, screaming death to America and death to Israel at Tehran's main Friday prayers.
اولا بنده این رو برای حضرات بزرگان آمریکایی روشن کنم. مرگ بر آمریکا یعنی مرگ بر ترامپ و جان بولتون و پومپئو.
First, I just thought that was NYU campus.
Well, so did I. I was a little confused. Yeah.
It's this simple. Iran views us as their main enemy, and they don't want Donald Trump to win. They want Harris to win. Ask yourself, why?
They got to be desperate to be endorsing a woman.
Yeah. And Judge, I'm sorry. It's just too distracting.
Yeah.
Would you mind taking off the neck brace?
Well, my neck does hurt. You know, I was in a car wreck.
So, yeah, I know you were in a car wreck, but, here, actually, I have it right here.
I don't know what else to do.
Try the, these boxes, they're
What's that?
It's the CB distiller. Here, can you catch it?
Yeah, probably.
It's a stick right there.
Oh, shit.
Hold on. Well, let me get it for you.
Just.
I can wheel back.
No.
I got a chair here.
Don't wheel back.
Can you do like a wheelie?
Look, I got it.
No,
I can try later.
Just stay right there. Just.
You got
yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Whoop. Come back to my spot.
There you go.
I put this thing on here.
Bet you didn't like it.
Oh, yeah. That, whoa, feels different.
Just rub some of that on there.
Here we go. Rub this sucker on.
Good.
You guys like to watch me rub it down?
Oh, okay.
Stop it.
You save this for later, Mud Club.
Well, at least we don't.
Oh, this is going out for free.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
That's actually.
Oh, this is.
Yeah.
It smells nice.
Yeah. Well, it's actually Gerald's.
Oh.
So, but you guys can get your own.
Wait, that was from my office?
Yeah.
Can I keep this?
I just scrape the hair off of it. So you can order your own, though, at cbdistillery.com. Use a promo code Crowder for 20% off. That's cbdistillery.com. There are a lot of gimmick products out there. CBD has kind of become a novelty item.
Yeah.
They actually provide you with third-party lab certificates, so you can actually see what they claim to be in the box is exactly what is in the box.
Yeah.
And they also include science on their website. It's a product that actually I used before we brought them on as a sponsor, especially after surgery. So cbdistillery.com.
It's minty.
You know that it's the real stuff. That's if you're going to use CBD, use it from the best place.
If I lick this, is it going to get me high?
It will not.
If you lick it, though, it might.
It will not, but the Percocet that you were
it's just
taking
because of Gerald.
probably will.
Yeah, well.
So lick the stick.
All right.
Wow, that's bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we clip that?
Good Lord.
cbdistillery.com. Crowder for 20% off.
Thank you for that.
I didn't know how else to silence Gerald. All right.
True.
Let's talk about Fox News right now. Let me ask you this. Does anyone out there still believe that Fox News is conservative, is right-leaning? Take a minute. You can hit pause here. Comment below.
We have a poll on Mug Club too, so they could answer.
Because they're not, Doug. They are not even remotely. I don't know how people are still buying this. Their polls are the worst in the business.
Yeah, they're bad.
The errors always lean left, and the margin of error is one of the widest. You can go and research this yourself. But they just posted this. And again, the question as to why is what matters. And we'll give you some more examples that you may have forgotten as it relates to Fox News. This is the headline. Homicides are plunging in Biden's last year compared to Trump's.
Right.
So I'm going to front load this for you really quickly. It's not true. And they actually are using crime statistics from a year that includes New York City to a year that doesn't.
That's a big city.
Let me repeat myself. And there are other major cities.
Yes.
But one number that you see includes New York City. Crime is, a lot lower when you don't include New York City.
Oh,
New York City!
You getting the picture?
By the way, does anybody?
By the way, those commercials were awful. Remember one guy has some salsa that he brings that he generously gives to them. Like, hey, what is this? He's like, I got it from New York City. They tie him up to a post and they brand him like it's the hills have eyes. Like you murdered a man because the salsa's from the wrong region.
Yes, Stephen.
And
what
they
is your
liked it.
problem with
Yes.
that? Salsa is a serious business.
I guess it is. I don't even remember the company. I just remember the commercial.
Pace Bacani sauce.
Oh, okay.
Not a sponsor.
Which sucks. It's horrible.
So let me
terrible.
Let me get into how they report this, and it's interesting because Fox chose to make that the headline. Again, the headline is "Homicides are plunging in Biden's last year compared to Trump," and then it just says "Report." Okay. Well, we looked at the report. Okay, so before we get into anything else, I just want to preface this. Of course, you all know that starting in 2021, it's really tough to gauge crime these days because Biden and Harris, they change reporting guidelines completely. So only 1/3 to 1/4 of law enforcement agencies report crime to the FBI at all. Only 4 in 10 violent crimes are currently being reported. Maybe 3 in 10 property crimes are being reported. Some crimes are no longer being prosecuted at all, like retail theft. That's how Pete Buttigieg goes out there and says, see, crime is lower. Go to your local metropolitan area and tell me that you feel safer. No one does. No one's buying it. Okay. So this is the trick with this current report. 2020 includes New York City. 2024 does not include New York City.
And a whole host of other cities.
And the survey only compares the first 6 months of 2020 versus 2024. Okay, so let's go through the claims that Fox News is allowing to be made. Here's the claim. Homicides dropped 13% in 66 cities. Okay? Go read the report, please. Don't take my word for it. The truth, the number is a lie. It's a lie. There's no if. It's a lie. If you include New York City, well, there's been a 7.5% drop in homicides in that very limited window of time that they have chosen. Compared to pre-COVID numbers, which are the numbers that people are using for reference, there's been a 9.5% increase in homicides. A 9.5% increase in homicides. Fox, in their defense, did share this footage of the most violent crimes committed in New York in 2024.
Hey, watch it, jet boy.
This looks pretty dangerous.
Wow.
It really hits home when you see who it touches. Mm-hmm. Here's another truth.
All of us.
That assaults are up big time. So using the survey that excludes New York City, assaults are up 9.1%. Okay? Using a survey that includes New York City, assaults are up 20.7%. So even when they cut out New York, assaults are still up 9%. Then you include New York, it's up 20%. From pre-COVID levels, if you include New York City, assaults are up 28.7%.
Wow.
Again, this is with the unfortunate reality that we have to deal with, that a lot of crimes are going completely unreported. It's still up to a staggering degree, to a degree that we have not experienced in our lifetime. Do you guys realize that? This is kind of a common libertarian argument for a very long period of time. It was like, well, people talk about the good old days, but truth be, if you look at the statistics, crimes typically, statistically, goes down over the recent decades, and there's actually less crime. And that was true for a long period of time, until recently.
Wonder what changed.
28.7%, or as Pete Buttigieg calls it, a victory.
Progress.
Here's another truth. Violent crime, by the way, it still went up in these leftist areas, even using their own warped metrics. So again, let me just, before I continue with this, I want to go back. The headline from Fox News, homicides are plunging in Biden's last year compared to Trump, report. I just want you to keep that in mind as we continue to go through this. We've gone through the homicide, we've gone through pre-COVID numbers, now we've gone through assault. Okay.
Yeah, because that's a weird word, plunging.
Plunging.
30% doesn't even sound like plunging.
No, it doesn't even sound like
that's
plunging.
a fake number.
Hold on, do me a favor too. Research who wrote this article. I know Fox that they shouldn't have let something like this get through their editorial staff, but who wrote this piece of garbage and didn't do any research at all?
Well, here's the other truth, is that violent crime is still going up even in these leftist areas, using the warped metrics of this survey that they have included. So in Portland, homicides are up 278%.
That's a lot.
Assaults up 30%. Seattle, homicides are up 58%. Assaults, they're up 25%. Atlanta, homicides are up 20%. Assaults up 20%. Remember, I don't know if you know Minneapolis, Walls, homicides are up 15%. They're up 106% from pre-COVID levels.
Good gosh.
The assaults,
6%?
The assaults, not even just going pre-COVID, just the assaults using the metrics from this study, they're up 357%, and they are up 417% from pre-COVID levels. That is what you see from this study and available legitimate data. So I just say this so that you don't allow the media, I hate to use the term gaslight, but gaslight you and say, well, crime is actually, do you want to go back to crime because that was Donald Trump? You know it's not true. Even leftists know it's not true. The American public, if you split the polling samples and you include a multitude of independents and strong Democrat, weak Democrat, no matter how you divide it up, guess what? People say that crime is worse now because that's what they experience. So the media wants you to believe that the statistics don't reflect it. They absolutely do. They actually reflect it to a degree that is startling to you, where if you knew how bad these numbers actually were, you probably wouldn't go into any major city for quite a while. Like if you found out, if instead of people telling you, hey, you're more likely to be struck by lightning than to be attacked by a shark, that's what they always say, which is, I hate that. It's like, well, yeah, because I spend all of my life on land and very little in the ocean. I'm sure the chances go up dramatically. If they said, actually, I don't know if you know this, you're far more likely to die in the beach from a shark than on your drive there in your car, you'd be like, well, holy shit, then I'm not going to drive my car to the beach. So if someone were to say, you're actually 417% more likely to be the victim of assault here in Minneapolis, thanks to Tim Walz and his policy, than you were pre-COVID, you'd go, well, I guess I'm not going to Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Right. Scroll back up just a second. Everybody's numbers that we showed, basically, right there is good. When you look at the pre-COVID levels, that's what we want to show people, because it's like, hey, before the world flipped upside down, here's where we were on track to be, right? Under Donald Trump. Tim Walz is like, hold my beer when it comes to assaults. 357%.
That's neighborly.
So look, before that, homicides 15% under this poll, 106% pre-COVID levels. That's a huge difference, right? He's got almost no difference in assaults. The numbers are just gigantic.
Yeah.
No matter when you compare them to, it is a crap hole.
Yeah.
How is this guy not being asked this question every single day? In other American cities, according to this crappy report that Fox News put out, crime is going down, except in your place.
Right.
Even without us debunking it, his numbers are horrifically bad.
And by the way, this is why the media, legacy media, is the enemy of the people. Look, people get things wrong. People make mistakes. We make mistakes. You just had me be admonished today. I just said assault because I was going to assault the researcher.
You assaulted me.
You just admonished me. We make mistakes. We make our references publicly available, and a big part of that is we crowdsource corrections. You're able to fact check us, and we'll come back the next day and say, hey, you know what? You're right. We got this wrong. Or maybe there was a number that we didn't include, which contextually would have been important. They don't do that. And this is a prime example. It's a more important example for the media. And that's why these people rely on big tech favors, and they rely on big government subsidies to one degree or another. And by the way, with Fox, this is not the first time that Fox has actually been, I don't want to use the term woke, bordering on communist. Okay, is that more prudent?
Okay.
So let me give you 3 examples of Fox News, and I just wish that the older generation, 76 median age is the viewership for Fox News. I just wish that they knew. So if you have parents who watch Fox News, let them know that Fox can often be leftist propaganda. To the alternative view on Fox, and that's more dangerous. You've not heard me spoken out against Fox that much. Obviously, full disclosure, I worked there for years. But at this point, the problem is people are accepting them as an alternative to CNN, MSNBC, and they believe that they're getting the truth. You're not. I would actually wager more often than not, you are being misled. And not being misled as far as cheerleading rah-rah Republican, I mean, you're being presented with information that is still very favorable to the left. Here's example number 1. You may not remember this. They released a podcast series specifically highlighting diverse leftist figures.
We are celebrating LGBTQ plus Pride Month by highlighting the community's culture and history.
And on this Thursday morning, we learn about Billy Beane, the only openly gay former Major League Baseball player.
Billy Beane was gay?
Yeah, he was like their, well, rest in peace. He died.
You sure
last
about
week.
that?
But yeah, he was like the ambassador for the LGBT community. For,
I had
MLB.
no idea Billy Beane was gay.
Gerald has an autograph.
Well, maybe you should be watching Fox News. That, by the way, just that morning panel, it's very much Anchorman, Ron Burgundy-esque, where, they can't be too controversial. I just wonder how that interview is like. So, Billy Beane, you like dicks?
He plays a sport with bats and balls. Yes, he does.
Well, no, there's a lot more to me than my sexuality. Well, I'm sure the audience are big fans of it. We'll see you later after this 4-minute segment. Back to you.
It says here you were a pitcher and a catcher. Tell us about that.
Billy Beane, about the only thing you won't be flicking, because you like wieners. It's just so uncomfortable to watch anything that's meant to be serious on a lot of these morning shows. Here's example number 2 of Fox News going completely woke. I don't know why they did this, and the only answer I can come to is that it's social engineering, where someone at Fox has decided this is important. They spotlighted a California transgender teen. And the reason they did it was because this person was hoping to be an inspiration to others. And Fox News said, yeah.
Pride Month continues as we highlight the story of Rylan Whittington, whose journey of transitioning at age 5 has been seen by 7 million people in a family YouTube video.
Before Rylan could even speak, he managed to tell his parents that he is a boy.
I could just see that it wasn't him trying to be a brat. It was like painful. It was truly painful for him to have to wear feminine clothing and for us constantly telling him that you're a girl.
I remember seeing that.
That's sad, man.
The hell are you doing?
That's as far to the left as you can possibly get. Saying the child is transgender. And by the way,
before they could even form a sentence,
those are awful, awful parents. For example, I took my little ones the other day to a Quick Trip in the morning, and because they have the donut display. And of course, both of them, my son, just like my daughter, went for the pink donut with the sprinkles. Why? Because the other ones are plain donuts. It looks like a Simpsons donut. It looks like a cartoon.
It looks flavored.
Now, if I were an abusive leftist parent, I would go, he picked the pink. Oh, I think I know what's happening here. No, he wanted the only donut with sprinkles, dummy.
Get him a dress.
And here's the other one.
Clothes.
And Fox is so left, and Fox, I would argue, violates journalistic ethics to a degree that is so upsetting that it actually has served as the inspiration for what we're doing this election. And I've talked about this. Here's example number 3. In 2020, Fox didn't just go along with the left. Fox was the only place to do this. They called Arizona for Biden with only 73% of the vote in.
This is a big development.
Yeah.
The Fox News decision desk is calling Arizona for Joe Biden. That is a big get for the Biden campaign.
And by the way, the other networks didn't call it until 9 days after the election. Now, keep in mind, Biden only won Arizona by 10,457 votes. And considering what we've seen in Arizona, in other elections where entire precincts were not working, for example. Now, you can't say that that's election fraud. What you can say is that affects the election if someone has taken time off work to go and vote and they have to wait 3-4 hours and they have to come back. So not just calling Arizona too early, but not even pointing out what has gone on in Arizona. Calling it early and not pointing out that, hey, by the way, other people are saying it's too early to call. And there are these sort of anomalies coming out of Arizona. No, it's a given. We are going to be the only ones to call Arizona early and not even providing context or information to you that it may be a problem. We were here live. 17 million of you were as well. And I remember just, what? They're calling Arizona, then news updates were coming in. I said, wait, hold on a second. Aren't they missing over 25% of the vote? People told me, yes. When I'm in here, I'm kind of in a silo, right? I have to have people send me information. I said, well, are some of those more red-leaning counties? Yes, absolutely. I'm going, how the hell are they calling Arizona for Biden?
Right.
And that sets the narrative that, well, there's obviously no election interference. Look at the blowout. Well, what if a couple of those changed? It's now no longer a blowout. It's a very, very different landscape. And I'm sorry to say, I know some very good people who work there at Fox News. You have played a direct role in that. You have played a direct role in gaslighting Americans and browbeating Americans who think that they deserve better as it relates to election integrity. And because I've lost sleep over it, that's why November 5th, 2024, we are doing the live election coverage, the election live stream of the century, the Rumble on Rumble. Don't expect us to be here on YouTube. We will have all of the data that these news outlets have and more on election night. So we will be able to call states. We'll be able to dispute states. If something like Arizona happens, we'll be able to say, no. We actually don't think that should be called. Furthermore, we'll provide the map for you, the electoral integrity map, where you can actually go see the states that are called and see why some states are in dispute. For example, a pipe bursting maybe in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia, where 2 days later they said, sorry, there was no pipe. Or in Arizona, if voting precincts are not open, you can click on that map. Box will open up, and not only can you read the story, but we will have boots on the ground live to go investigate it so you can actually kind of minority report this and go to different states, particularly your state, to get that information. We will have boots on the ground, volunteer army. Please do consider joining loudoathcreditor.com/mugclub. If you're watching on Rumble, just click that button right there. It's a multi-million-dollar undertaking. We appreciate your support. We will be the only place that will be able to, on sure footing, dispute this kind of bullshit. There's no other word.
Yeah.
Going forward, and Fox News, they're one of the worst offenders.
Yeah. Two people at Fox were fired from this. I believe higher ups at Fox fired for this, but 9 days before everybody else calling it. I thought it was bad. We joke around occasionally. It's like, they called Arizona with like 1% of the vote, and we're obviously being sarcastic, like because they did a bad job. I thought it was 2 days early, and I'm like, wow, how in the world? 9 days early.
Yep.
It's insane.
And the same place is saying, and crime has plunged.
Yes.
Since Biden took office. How? How does that happen? It's not just a small mistake And how do the mistakes keep lining up, again, even at Fox News, on one side of the political spectrum, or at least to their advantage? Which brings us to another point here I'd like to discuss. The media, again, completely bringing, I guess the way you can describe the media is, you ever had like a dog that brings you like a dead bird, like a dead rat, and they're really excited because they think they've done a good job, but you just want it out of the house? That's what happens when the media brings in a lot of these new cherry-picked stats and polls. Like, they expect you to be happy with it. And instead, they should be hit with a rolled-up newspaper. So they're doing this right now on the economy with Donald Trump, where they're cherry-picking information and they're taking them out of context. Remember last week I told you the story about how the media said Donald Trump says that he owes Elon Musk favors because of electric vehicles. And Donald Trump spent about 20 minutes crapping on electric vehicles and then said, and I'm sure they're great. Elon Musk endorsed me, so I have to say I like them, right? So this week, I use it to set the stage because I've done that exactly right here with the economy. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, they're in North Carolina. They'll be giving these rallies discussing the economy. Okay, it's a very important issue. They are now saying, meaning the media, that North Carolina is considered a swing state, to the point they're actually going to be changing their state flag. And that's just, well, see, that's the thing. The media doesn't give you the full context.
Explains why Kamala's there, but
so just to set the stage, and because it's always fun, I can't say it any better than he did himself. And then we'll get to the media misrepresentation. Here's Donald Trump starting it off with his speech in Asheville.
Now, this is a little bit different day because this isn't around. This is we're talking about a thing called the economy. They wanted to do a speech on the economy. A lot of people are very devastated by what's happened with inflation and all of the other things. So we're doing this as a intellectual speech. You're all intellectuals today. From today and from the day I take the oath of office, we will rapidly drive prices down and make America affordable again. We're going to make it affordable again. Does anyone here feel richer under Kamala Harris than Crooked Joe? Kamala Harris wants to be in charge of the entire U.S. economy, but neither she nor her running mate is the beauty, isn't he? He signed a bill. He wants tampons in boys' bathrooms. I don't think so. But they've never held a private sector job in their entire professional careers, and it's no wonder they're both socialists. They're actually beyond socialists. I think they skipped over socialists. That's why I think when people find out, because you don't know who these people are, I think when people find out who they are, I personally don't think they can do well in the election.
I love how he just throws in, like one-liners that he's gotten from movies. Tampons? I said, I don't think so. I said, over my dead body. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the boys' room.
Smoking in the boys' room.
He's just... So, of course, the media is trying to spin what he has said to make him look bad. They want to make him look bad and then tell you that the polls reflect you believe it's bad. What they're doing, it equates to outright lying. So here's the claim that was made. That Trump said he's not sure the economy is that important. This comes from the Associated Press, AP. At one point, Trump seemed to even question the purpose of giving a speech ostensibly devoted to the economy. They want to do a speech on the economy, he riffed.
Talk about one subject, and then we'll start going back to the other, because we sort of love that, don't we? But it's an important, they say it's the most important subject. I'm not sure it is, but they say it's the most important. Inflation is the most important, but that's part of economy.
What? So it's almost like, contextually, he was trying to draw your attention to the finer point as it relates to the economy, the point that affects most Americans, which, by the way, even leftist pollsters have said, hey, that's probably what he should focus on. But here's something else that you may not know, where he said inflation is probably more important and it's a point in the economy. He was literally reflecting the results of an economist poll to the decimal. Here it is from The Economist. Inflation, 97%. People saying that that's the most important issue. Economy, 96%. Taxes, government spending, 94%. This is from the poll taken at The Economist. So he's saying, yeah, maybe inflation is a bigger deal. And you know what? It gets even worse.